Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We just got a ton of new intel, not just on the Verdansk update for Warzone Season 3, but really Warzone Season 3 and a few other multiplayer slash zombies Season 3 update details as well. This morning, Call of Duty uploaded a brand new Call of Duty podcast episode about an hour in length that details essentially major overhauls to Warzone gameplay for Verdansk alongside a bunch of other details as well. Rather than going through and watching an hour-long podcast together, Charlie Intel summed up quite a few of the major takeaways in a series of tweets, so we've got a lot to break down, starting first with some breaking news. Season 3 is going to be a two-part launch, which is really interesting, and I think it'd be really helpful for a lot of players. Charlie Intel says, breaking, Black Ops 6 Season 3 is now launching on April 2nd, one day early. Obviously, the main launch date was previously Season 3 launching on April 3rd. They say Warzone is going to be offline for 24 hours, starting on April 2nd, and then go back live on April 3rd. During the downtime of Warzone, anyone who opens up the Warzone menu, so from April 2nd to April 3rd while it's down, anyone who opens the menu is going to get the kilo for free, teasing another confirmation that we'll talk about here in just a moment. So Black Ops 6, so multiplayer and presumably Zombies Season 3, drops on April 2nd. Warzone Season 3 drops on April 3rd. Now during this, Black Ops 6 is also going to have a free trial going on for all players, so everyone can boot up and play multiplayer while you're waiting for Warzone to come back online. So it's a two-part launch essentially. Black Ops 6 gets Season 3 a day earlier than Warzone and Verdansk and everything a day later on April 3rd. So gonna be a big couple of days there. This is gonna be really convenient for anyone trying to level up their weapons right away for when Warzone drops. I think that's gonna be pretty advantageous there. So an interesting staggered launch for Season 3. Now obviously we were just talking about the kilo. We got official confirmations through the COD pod with our Season 3 weapons. So the AMAX, the kilo, the HDR, and the Cali sticks are all officially confirmed. Now obviously we've seen these teased throughout the trailers so far. We had a lot of leaks for these, so we pretty much knew they were coming, but they weren't ever officially confirmed just outright. But now we do have it via the COD pod that yes, we do have the AMAX, the kilo, the HDR, and the Cali sticks all returning. We can see them in a nice little inspect animation here across the board. They look to be essentially one-to-one recreations of their original versions back from Modern Warfare 2019. I know I'm definitely very excited to drop in with the AMAX and with the kilo yet again. Really hoping that the HDR is going to be a solid, one-shot long-range sniper option as well. They also teased my personal favorite weapon returning, but in a different way. So the Grau is coming back. I am a massive Grau fan. It's my favorite weapon of all time. It's returning with Verdansk in Season 3, but it's going to be as a conversion kit for the SWAT 556. Now, this has pros and cons. It's awesome because the Grau is going to be back outright. That's fantastic. But as a conversion kit, now this means if you already have the SWAT 556 leveled, you're not going to have to level up the Grau. You're just going to have to get the conversion kit for it. However, this is also going to affect your class setups for it as well, because you're going to have to use one of your attachments on the conversion kit. So unless you're using Gunfighter, things might be a little bit weird with the overall class setup here. So I'm a little concerned there, but nonetheless, the Grau is back. I'm going to save any and all judgments for when I can get my hands on and actually use it and see just how good it is. But a different method of dropping the Grau as opposed to it being its own standalone weapon. It will be a conversion kit. And by the way, as we are going through all the details here today that were revealed, because there are so many more things to break down as well. If you guys enjoy the video, you're excited for Season 3, the return of Verdansk, everything coming alongside it, a like rating on the video is always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee you are in the know for everything going on, because today we've got major news. In the coming days, we should be seeing even more next week. Obviously, with all the updates, we're going to be covering everything. So if you want to stay up to date with Call of Duty, there's no better place than right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up here, another pretty surprising update. Verdansk in Warzone, and just Warzone in general, it seems like, is going to feature an updated movement system that is unique to Warzone. It still will be Omni movement, but it's going to be fine-tuned just for Warzone. It's going to be closer to the original experience in terms of pacing and gameplay feels. So the devs did confirm Warzone's movement is now going to be separate from multiplayer. you are still going to have the omni movement features, being able to dive and slide and do all that stuff there, right? But it's going to be tuned more specifically for Warzone gameplay. They didn't go into super specific details here, but nonetheless, a gameplay overhaul is coming for movement here. Really curious to see just how much this impacts the overall feel and how much you can notice the difference between it versus the standard omni movement of multiplayer and zombies. But nonetheless, a major movement update is coming with season 3 for Warzone. Another cool thing happening, all original Verdansk contracts are returning when the map comes back on April 3rd. Classic recon contracts are going to replace the intel contracts. It now shows a radius as well. The supply runs, scavengers, bounties, and most wanteds are all going to be there as well. So if a contract existed back in Warzone 1, that is going to be there as well when the map does come back, when Verdansk comes back. So cool little callback to that style of gameplay. We've heard leaks and rumors about vehicle updates, but we also got it confirmed here. The classic helicopter, the Little Bird, is coming back with Verdansk and Warzone Season 3. And in general, we have another overhaul here as well. Vehicles have been updated to be more like the original experience in terms of how they feel. So vehicle movement updates and control updates are happening with Warzone Season 3. Definitely has been a big complaint ever since Warzone 2 in the new era. Vehicles have felt really bad, so that classic vehicle control system is going to be coming back in some capacity. We'll have to wait and see if it's one-to-one or if it's going to be fine-tuned over time, but nonetheless, classic vehicles are back, and then also that vehicle control experience should be back as well. There's been a lot of talk about this lately as well. Some players saying they really hope they see it, others saying they hope they don't, but now we have it officially confirmed. There are no redeploy balloons in Warzone on Verdansk. They specifically mentioned in Battle Royale, redeploy balloons or redeploy drones were not going to be on the map. They want to focus movements more on vehicles, more on character movements, and less on the redeploy stuff there. So for those of you worried about that ruining the Verdansk flow or immersion or experience, you're not going to have to worry about that. There are no redeploy balloons on Verdansk whatsoever. You're going to have to rely on zipping up to the top of buildings and jumping off and using your parachute to navigate from point A to point B, or using those newly improved vehicles. We also have several quality of life updates that were detailed within the COD pod, saying weapon inspect is now going to show the attachment. So when you pick up a weapon and you inspect it, it's going to show they've got this red dot, this barrel, this suppressor, this extended mag on it, so you know exactly what the build is that you're using. So now if you pick up a ground loot gun and you're like, oh, this thing feels way better than my build, what is on this thing? You don't have to guess anymore. You can just straight up see it. So that's really cool. Default loadouts are going to be updated to be more competitive with the HDR and the kilo. So the default loadouts are going to be essentially meta now for the first little bit until they go through and inevitably nerf these weapons after they've been in the battle pass for long enough, right? Buy station is going to have that vertical UI and a dedicated button for squad buybacks as well. We'll get even more details in the patch notes next week, which are said to be very big. So stay tuned for that video. Maybe we'll set a record for new longest patch note video on the channel. I think we're at like 30 something minutes with some of the previous ones, so we'll have to wait and see for the full details there, but I'm expecting a lot. They did also detail ranked play a tad bit here. There's been a lot of questions. Is this going to shift over to Resurgence again? Is it going to carry over to Verdansk? They did confirm ranked play will be on Verdansk, but that'll be launching with the Season 3 Reloaded update, so presumably in very early May, maybe late April. 3 to 4 weeks after the launch of the season is typically when we end up seeing the mid-season updates or the Reloaded updates, so about a month after the launch of Season 3, we'll have ranked play on Verdansk for the first time ever, which will be pretty cool. Detonated.com also grabbed a few other quotes from this COD pod as well, saying for the future of Verdansk, they are committed to evolving the map with new content and updates in future seasons. Not a huge surprise here, but yes, Verdansk will be evolving as we get to Season 3 Reloaded, Season 4, Season 4 Reloaded, Season 5, so on and so forth. They also teased something kind of interesting for Warzone right now. Apparently Area 99 has an Easter egg that no one has found since the map dropped, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's because everyone's too busy getting third-partied every single gunfight on that map, but there's an Easter egg reportedly on Area 99 right now that is yet to be discovered. So if you're into that kind of stuff, maybe it's time to start looking for some new clues. Then lastly, to sum up the COD pod here, Charlie Intel does also report that the next Black Ops 6 Zombies map, Shattered Veil, is going to be bigger in size than the Tomb and Liberty Falls, and it's going to be more similar to Citadel de Mor in terms of overall pacing and size there. So a few details on zombies. They did mention that tomorrow, presumably, we're going to be seeing even more details. We're going to have a zombies gameplay trailer and some multiplayer announcements as well. We also ended up getting a Verdansk map fly-through here. There's no commentary with this one. It's just more of like a cinematic POV of all the different POIs on the map. It's just music playing in the background. Not sure if it's copyrighted or not, but we get alternative looks at various different POIs. Superstore Stadium we just saw, of course, it's the classic Superstore that we know. Hospital, of course, is back. We've got the Ascenders up there. No real surprise. Similar to what we had before. Storage Town, you know, everyone's going to be dropping here in Plunder, of course. You got to relive that. The Plunder community, everyone's got to drop Storage first game back on, right? I just imagine that's going to be complete and utter chaos. We've got TV Station, of course, where they actually like themed the cod pot around, I'm pretty sure. The dam up top, of course, where the water, yes, indeed, is still frozen at the very, very top. As expected, you got like the inside little areas there with some of the walls blown up. We've got Train Station, which does look like the interior will be accessible just based off some of the doors. Airport, of course, with the ATC tower. I'm sure no one's gonna camp up there at all, right? Boneyard with, of course, Scrapyard, all the broken down planes. It's nice sort of just like reliving. We got the little bird there, of course, which we now know is going to be back. Promenade, we've got east and west with all the various apartment buildings. Downtown, of course, in there too, with all the redesigned and rebuilt buildings as well. Prison with the gulag showers in the bottom. Call of Duty Warzone pre-order now. Like I said, basically just a cinematic breakdown of every main POI that we've got, you know, in some angles that we haven't seen up until this point. We also got a full-on Warzone roadmap separate from multiplayer and zombies, which presumably will come tomorrow. Today is just Warzone oriented with all the content updates, gameplay changes, and then a blog detailing stuff as well. So much to break down today. It's like, hey, the past couple of days we've been getting those stories of Verdansk teasers, and then today it's we're going to drop everything, right? So as far as updates go, yes, obviously Verdansk is back at the gulag showers. With modes, we're going to see Battle Royale Plunder on Verdansk, it seems like. Rebirth Resurgence will still be in the launch window. We also have Battle Royale Casual coming. I'm interested to learn about that in the blog. We've got Battle Royale Ranked in season, and then High Trip Resurgence LTM in season. Quality of life updates, buy station updates, detailed death recap widget. We'll have details on that in the blog. Inspect to view attachments, field upgrades, prioritize favorite loadout in Gunsmith, and then also HUD loadout icon when buyable in season as well. We also have some other stuff on the right side here. Returning BR150, of course, no real surprise there. We knew that was going to be coming. We got vehicle rebalancing. Helo is returning. Floating loot's returning. Shooting during free fall is officially back. I'll move my face cam here so we can get the full look at that. That's official. Vertical buy station menu, supply run and recon contracts. Thermites are back as well. The return to Verdansk events, more classic elements. Circle pacing, cinematics, announcer, contract multiplier, the victory screen coming later this season, specialist perk pack, big game bounty, and more. So let's jump into the blog, detail even more of what's coming within Warzone Season 3. So we've got our fully detailed blog on Verdansk and Warzone alone. Like I said, no focus on zombies or multiplayer today. That'll be reserved for later this week. We'll obviously be covering it when it happens, but we actually have detailed, oh, okay, cool. We got dates here. So we've got the tour of Verdansk. That's just screenshots and stuff. Basically the stuff we're seeing from the trailers, the TAC Atlas. March 27th, which is tomorrow, is the Season 3 announcement for multiplayer, zombies, and general content. So we'll be covering that. On the 28th is going to be the Ricochet updates. On April 2nd, we'll see Battle Pass, Black Cell, and Store Bundle blogs as well. Then make sure you preload the game prior to Black Ops 6's Season 3 launch on April 2nd, which comes with a free 24-hour trial. Then everything coming within Warzone will be on April 3rd. So everything rebuilt from the ground up, just as you remember, with a few other additional enhancements there. This version of Verdansk has been painstakingly rebuilt from the ground up to give you the very best BR experience. That experience balances the immersion, adjusted movement mechanics, and the signature gameplay you remember from the original Warzone, with one overriding goal: to relive classic and nostalgic Verdansk again. And again, we get a cool little screenshot here of everything. Familiar, enhanced, and improved. It's the little things. So the map is rebuilt to be the same as the original. You remember, this is around 95% of the play space. Enhanced, just the same as Verdansk 2020, with beneficial adjustments. Improved, new elements within existing areas based on current game design. So they give us some detailed breakdowns showing the original Verdansk with the newly updated graphics and whatnot, left versus right comparisons here. So we see Quarry, old versus new. Superstore, old versus new. We see enhanced enhanced topography, old versus new as well. So things are just updated graphically, updated visually there. Again, enhanced detail, so things are going to be looking prettier across the board. I think that's generally good. Now, depending on which graphics you're using on your game, if you're using low graphics, you might not notice this stuff as much, but still cool that they have gone through and updated certain things here and there just for visuals and aesthetics and everything there. So we get some cool looks at various different areas of the map, different zip lines and things of that nature. So the recon tour, we've seen several screenshots, images, interiors of things, you know, throughout the various trailers and promos that they've done so far. This is just sort of recapping most of that. Now that you've seen a variety of the limited and extremely subtle adjustments and quality of life improvements, here's a summary of what to expect across Verdansk as a whole. Good grief, this is a lot. Trees are not precisely in the exact same locations. Parked vehicles that aren't drivable now look much more like smoldering wreckage. One of the biggest changes is the ability to swim, which was not there originally. The southern combat zone has been extended out into the sea a little bit, so that's not going to be the end line border at the bottom of the map. That's interesting. That coastline is accessible, but it's not critical to gameplay. Some of the more unforgiving areas of steep and rocky terrain have been adjusted so you can climb better. Telephone and electrical poles have been slightly shortened in some locations for better parachuting. Other traversal points or areas that disadvantage some players have been given minor adjustments, allowing routes to rooftops that may have been originally only accessible by a parachute or something, so like zip lines and things of that nature. Doors can be barged through, are usually double hinged, so you can see that. Ascenders were not in the original Verdansk launch. They were added in Season 5 of Modern Warfare 2019 and aren't planned to arrive until later in Season 3 in Battle Royale matches. These have been tested on numerous buildings to enable players to reach otherwise difficult to reach rooftops in preparation for them to return to the mode. These aren't the original A-frame shape. They are the newer L shape with the current mechanics that are just better for gameplay there. The lighting on the exterior of the map, the draw distance at range, general visibility, and haze has all been adjusted. Lighting of interiors has been adjusted to make things easier to spot, essentially, like the rose skin. Detail, art passes, and scenery enhancements have been added. The HUD compass text at the top is now updated as well. And then also user interface has been simplified. New Warzone features across the board, including some redacted stuff. As Season 3 progresses, expect the first points of interest to start opening up, so we'll get details on this. Verdansk is back. Warzone Omni movement adjustments. The introduction of Black Ops 6's Omni movement has been a major stepping stone for the game. Season 3 serves as an opportunity to fine-tune this by slightly scaling back some of the speed increases introduced. These adjustments bring movement more in line with what we experienced early in Warzone. So if you're a fan of the MW 2019 movement, it seems like this is what we're getting. Additionally, changes are being made to Omni sprint speed scaling and slide friction to adjust the strength of strafe engagements while preserving the feel of sprint, strafe, reloading, and general movement. Player count, infill shooting during free fall. So 150 players. We're going to have the original announcer back in with a similar accent to Captain Price. Shooting during free fall, when you drop in, you're going to be able to use your pistol or your other weapons to actually take out other players. That's awesome and super chaotic. And then there's going to be new infill and exfil cinematics here. Crates, armor satchels, looting loadouts, high value loot zones, and more coming at launch and during mid-season. We've got the original supply box colors, original floating loot, and the original armor satchel all there. We spotted some of these in some of their marketing so far. Floating loot is obviously going to be just like it was back in the day, which is fantastic there. Current reusable supply box. The darker blue supply boxes that are refilled as the match progresses are also available there. The original armor satchel is back as well. You'll love to see that. Current loot pool, expect the type of loot to find that you find on the ground from fallen enemies and in crates to be based on a selection of armaments you can choose from currently in Warzone. This includes weapons like primaries, pistols, and melees. Current loot user interface. Each item you look at has a current GUI system applied to it, allowing for a simple at-a-glance info to display. Then current loadouts and perks. Before infill to Verdansk, you're able to create multiple custom loadouts as normal to use in match with a full selection of MW2, MW3, and BO6 weapons. No surprise there, right? High value loot zones are coming at launch, then also in season. These were introduced during MW3. You land at these spots, the loot is better. It also is going to be a hotter drop, presumably, as well. We've got the original buy station inventory and buy station placement as well, obviously with that new UI that's sort of been revamped and is more vertical, which is going to be really, really cool there. But if you remember the buy stations from OG Verdansk, you're going to be all set here because those locations will be similar. Specialist perk coming mid-season. One of the most important items in all the current iteration of the game is coming in buy station inventories at Season 3 Reloaded. Perhaps it's also hidden elsewhere. It's in the bunkers, baby. I love that the bunkers are going to be back. I assume that's what that is referencing there, right? General equipment and stuff. It's going to be pretty basic here, all things considered, right? Choose your lethal, choose your tactical from BO6 MW2 MW3. Retro refresh with equipment. Munitions and equipment available as floating loot takes the appearance of items you remember originally. The pool of lethal and tactical equipment in Verdansk has been adjusted to be closer to what it originally was back during the day. So for field upgrades, munis, heartbeats, deployable cover, PDS, trophies, loadout drops, armor boxes, and recons. For streaks, it'll be UAVs, advanced UAVs, precisions, clusters, and bunker busters. Equipment, flashes, smokes, concussions, decoys, snapshots, stims, frags, semtexes, C4s, spring mines, mollies, and knives. Not all field upgrades and kill streaks are going to be available in Verdansk at launch. More will come throughout the seasons. The thermite's going to be back. Obviously going to be big for taking on vehicles there. Field upgrades launch in mid-season. Original armor box, deployable cover, heartbeat sensor, muni, recon, trophy system. We just talked about that, right? It's going to be some in the buy station, some just as general loot there. Streaks, again, just talked about that. Original cluster, precision, UAV, all going to be available. Current bunker buster, scheduled for arrival in mid-season. The available kill streaks are expected to expand with the vertical ordnance, the bunker buster. So that'll just be a reloaded update there. Contracts, original bounty, most wanted, and scav contracts are all going to be back there. Obviously, all the classic contracts, as mentioned in the COD pod, are going to be returning, which is really cool. The recon there, the supply run, of course, contract multipliers, which is huge, so you can get more and more cash. Big game bounty, and then recon during the mid-season with the train update they also mentioned. With the arrival of the train moving around the rails at mid-season, the returning recon contract also becomes available on the train itself. In-match public events like the fire sale, jailbreak, loadout drop, and restock coming at launch and mid-season. So that's all going to be cool, just like classic gameplay there, of course. The original capture the flag gulag variant will be there at launch as well for that. Verdansk vehicles and rebalancing with the heli, the cargo truck, the LTV, the Polaris, and then also the ATV. All vehicles are available in the same set of locations that used to appear on the original map. Additionally, there are no tire punctures or refueling to worry about. That's cool. All vehicles are receiving a tuning pass. This rebalancing is designed to ensure these handle and steer in the spirit of the original iteration of the game. You'll love to hear it. Then we just get a look at the classic heli, the cargo trucker, the Bertha is going to be back as well, the LTV, the Polaris, and then also the ATV as well. Circle collapse pacing is going to be adjusted similar to Warzone 1. The collapsing circle of gas that suffocates stragglers and forces operators to rotate in is going to be there just like in the original map. Expect loadout drops during the 2nd and 5th circle of the 6 circle collapses, and a wide variety of final circle locations as well. Map elements, vertical ascenders launch to mid-season, so we'll see these added in over time here. Rope or cable spanning vertical interiors like in towers are going to be used as zip-ups. We also have these new ascenders as well, which are the L-shape that are quicker to dismount. Essentially, you won't get caught in those animations. As Season 3 progresses, exterior ascenders are scheduled to be added across Verdansk and Battle Royale modes in the same locations you remember. Plunder mode will have all external ascenders available at the start of Season 3, so they're just adjusting it for Battle Royale, which is kind of interesting. Original train station interior is coming at mid-season. That's kind of weird. The original moving train is coming at mid-season too. Blank interior access, I can assume that's going to be the stadium. New areas both on the surface within subterranean blank across Verdansk are being actively monitored for signs of blank. Additionally, partially redacted reports of blank that haven't been seen blank are also tracking internal that blank. Yeah, okay, work with me here, COD. I don't know what I'm reading here, but I'd assume that's all stadium there with the various different rooms and Easter eggs and like the codes that we could get into some of the suites there too. Quality of life updates, we've read and seen a lot about these already, but squad redeployed the buy where you can instantly buy back everyone right away. That's going to be really, really cool there. Weapon inspect showing all the various different attachments. Monolithic suppressor is listed there. I hope that's going to be just like it was back in MW 2019. Prioritize favorite loadouts. You can just have that available right away. Tac map, zoom, and centering settings are going to be adjusted there. That's cool too. Detailed death recap, which shows you if you were affected by an unsuppressed weapon, if you were live pinged, if you were on a recon drone. I like that, just giving you more details when you do end up getting taken out. It's never a bad thing, right? Updated squad widget for field upgrades, showing you what your teammates actually have. Ping duration settings, a new setting's been added that lets you control how long pings stay on your screen. That's interesting too. Secrets of Verdansk, redacted content. Okay, here we go. I'm all here for the Easter eggs. Between March 2020 and December 2021, when Verdansk was active, investigations across the combat zone began to reveal hidden items, comms, and evidence, much of it being hidden well away from the prying eyes. Upon your return to Verdansk, it's well worth your time to check out the out-of-the-way places, searching for clues and finding redacted, allowing you to redacted, both old and new. With the wealth of history over the last 5 years, redacted opening up, blank including tracking, blank more than ever before. Easter eggs, Easter eggs, Easter eggs. I love that. We're going to be following them closely here on the channel, most likely. Maps, modes, events, and initial weapon details. So confirmed maps and modes, returning maps for Verdansk, and then also Rebirth in the launch window. Battle Royale 150 25-minute matches, of course. Battle Royale casual is players and bots. Only 28, so this is basically like boot camp. That's all it is. 28 players, 120 bots. You're probably not going to be able to do your camos in that mode, I'd guess, but you never know. We'll have to test and see there. Plunder Quads is going to be on Verdansk, so that's confirmed for launch. Warzone boot camp. Wait, there's boot camp and there's casual. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe you can do camos in the other one. Should have just kept reading there. We also have Resurgence on Rebirth Island. That's coming back in the launch window, as mentioned. Battle Royale ranked play coming mid-season. 150 player trios on Verdansk, of course. More modes. Expect mid-season to bring additional modes, including LTM High Trip with massive resurgence potential, a special narrator on the comms, and gameplay boosts. So some guest appearance. It's just gonna be Snoop Dogg for the 20th time, right? We also have the Return to Verdansk event starting on April 3rd, going to the 15th. 20 total rewards, including 6 instant unlocks for new and returning players. Fight your way across Verdansk and explore 12 unique zones, find hidden safes for exclusive rewards, and you get special operator skins. So some classic Milsim skins. You get the Kilo for free if you do this event, and then also it seems like the Kali sticks are there, new operators there, then other Verdansk classic stuff. You can also get the Kilo for free just by logging in, though, as we know. Instant unlocks are going to be just like the basic Warzone veteran rewards, a contrail, a parachute there, and whatnot. I like the Milsim skins, though. That's a W for sure. Event intel, you can just see we're going to go through and have to explore these various different areas across Verdansk as a whole. Then they actually break down the events, the major and the minor POIs there, which are pretty self-explanatory, right? Find hidden safes. When you open a hidden safe, there are 3 possible outcomes. You get supply loot, zone rewards, or a special reward, which is actually redacted. So that's kind of cool. Then we get the zone rewards, which are just different per zone. So it's stadium, and then it's quarry, and then it's superstore, or whatever else, which is various different filler content there. Then the mastery rewards available for all players is this cool operator skin, then also the Kali stick. So that's pretty cool as well. A new grind set, initial weapon detail. Prior to the Season 3 announcement blog on March 27th, which fully details all the incoming weapons, it's worth detailing some so far. So Kilo 141, you can get this by just downloading and opening up Warzone for free. We also have the CR56 AMAX, which is going to be in the Battle Pass. We've got the HDR, which will be in the Battle Pass. The Kali Sticks is that main event reward, as we just heard as well. And then the Grau is going to be obviously that conversion kit, which we'll probably learn more about tomorrow. And then they just detail the launch of Season 3 here. So we're gonna have the new blog tomorrow. Stay on the lookout for that with multiplayer, zombies, and general content like more weapons, the battle pass stuff there. Season 3 is launching in 2 separate phases. Wednesday, April 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific, we'll have BO6 multiplayer, zombies, the battle pass, and new content across all platforms. Then on Thursday, April 3rd at 9 a.m. Pacific, Warzone launches there. The Verdansk launch sequence. Be sure you preload both of these updates. They'll be out. And then it obviously just explains what the updates are, which is, again, pretty self-explanatory considering we've talked about them a billion times here. A 24-hour countdown timer is also going to be going live on Wednesday with the Verdansk countdown. Use this time wisely. That's when you can get the Kilo 141 for free there. There's also the Welcome Home event for 15 minutes on Thursday, April 3rd. Stand by for your first return drop into Verdansk. In-game messaging will direct you to the appropriate menus. Various rewards prior to your first match will be granted. Then around 9 a.m. Pacific, you can drop in. Interesting. I mean, I'm excited for sure. This is a really cool Warzone update. By far the biggest Warzone update we've ever seen. So, you know, expectations are high. Hopefully they follow through. Obviously, time will tell next week. But yeah, lots and lots of details here today. Pretty lengthy video. If you stuck around the whole time, I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you later. Peace out.